Taylor Lorenz, well-known, incredibly reputable journalist, and isn't absolutely fucking insane, wrote an article about it. Dark money group secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers.
One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund
APAC.
is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month.
Nice one. You can actually just do this. You can just get paid $8 grand a month to go somewhere and be a hack. Do you know that quote? I think it's from Sartre. The quote is something like, the anti-Semite doesn't accuse the Jew of stealing because he thinks they actually stole something. He does it because he delights in watching the Jew turn out his pockets to prove his innocence. This guy doesn't believe a fucking word he's saying. They're just bedridden online trolls living on fucking disability, spewing fucking hatred on the internet. That's all they're good for. Yeah, okay. Well, hello chat. What's everyone talking about? Nothing interesting. Okay. Oh, another goal. Okay, why not? Welcome back, bug. What'd you call me? The fuck? Let's do a more modest goal today, shall we? For the third one in a row. 5 super chats, okay? Little bug. Because we're gonna be reading. You know, I wonder, maybe I'm doing this with a bit of arrogance because I did not read this article off stream to prep. Okay. So did you guys know that I've been exposed? I've been exposed because in 2024, I was paid monthly by a group called Progressive Victory for, I think, just under a year. Largely because they wanted to use some of my content, some of my stream content, and upload it as sort of a combination of 60-second shorts on their YouTube channel and Twitter, and as YouTube segments for their own channel. So basically, I would have my videos, they'd be on my channel, and they could sometimes take segments that I hadn't made segments myself, or they could take my actual segments and just put them on their channel as well. That was the deal. Usually like 1 or 2 stories a week, maybe 3. Occasionally, they would be like, oh, there's like a few people who want to be interviewed by content creators. Do you want to talk about to this person? He's like a polling expert or a political scientist talking about the Democrats and Republicans in the election. So I did that. Or there was one activist who was in charge of canvassing and also to do with kind of like civil rights based stuff for like minorities communities. So I did that as well. Disclosed all of it. I was quite public about the fact that I was being paid by them at the time. I was actually, when I was doing events related to them, I was quite clear that I was doing events that related to them. I can show you. I still have my lanyard. I have my lanyard from when I went to Ohio for canvassing, which was involving Progressive Victory as well as interviewing congresspeople, because there are people in America who have lots of money and they love this idea of their politicians breaking into the new media, the alt media, the streamers, the shitheads, the worms, the drama frogs, the sloppers, people like me, right? And they wanted Democrats to be better at that because Republicans have been ahead of that curve for a really long time. They've got all their Charlie Kirks and their well-organized, well-oiled machine of Satan's spawn. And most of the focus around the time was that it went all the way up until the election because their goal was to use figures like me and you may build connections so that politicians could get connected to people like us, so that we could get connected to politicians, and so that there could just be a bit more information out there and a bit more content out there that would help the Democrats get votes, like canvassing or just outreach and things like that. Now, some people obviously have called that dark money and have gone on epic fucking crusades to try and discredit this organization and to make it look like something incredibly sinister was going on. Now, I had my issues with Progressive Victory. They were not, I've spoken about that as well, actually. They actually were behind quite a few failures, I thought, but we'll get into that too. There were some people in particular, I wonder if I can find him, was that guy F-Bombs for You, who used to be a regular chatter in like my community and Chud Logic's community, I think even in Destiny's. He tried to start a channel and he got to talk to people and he did debates. I think he did panel debates quite a lot. Hippy Dippy, Dylan Burns fan. He lost his mind going on this crusade against Progressive Victory because he just was so determined that someone like me or anyone else working with them to try and help Biden or well, eventually Harris get elected, that there was something dark going on there. And he would just ask a load of questions that were all easily answered if you could just even look at their own website about funding and everything else. But yeah, he just completely burned every possible bridge and has fallen out of the good graces of everyone for obsessing over Progressive Victory. But now he's vindicated, and people like him are vindicated as well, because Taylor Lorenz, well-known, incredibly reputable journalist who doesn't lie about her age or try to conceal it for very strange reasons, and is always honest and isn't absolutely fucking insane, wrote an article about it. Dark money group secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. Wow. Well, that sounds bad. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what mischief I've been up to, as well as others. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I didn't have to keep anything secret. Progressive Victory, people I knew didn't have to keep anything secret. So let's get into that. Maybe. In a private group chat in June, dozens of Democratic political influencers discussed whether to take advantage of an enticing opportunity. They were being offered $8,000 a month to take part in a secretive program aimed at bolstering Democratic messaging on the internet. But the contract sent to them from Chorus, the non-profit arm of a liberal influencer marketing platform, came with some strings. Among other issues, it mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments and had restrictions on what sort of political content the creators could produce. Interesting. Well, first of all, Chorus has nothing to do with Progressive Victory, as far as I know. So people have linked this article to Progressive Victory. That's one of the punchlines, even though Progressive Victory is not mentioned anywhere in this article. People just saw, oh, dark money and Democrats. Oh, damn, that must be. So that's one thing that's already out of the way. In their group chat, influencers debated the details. Should we send a joint email with all of our email addresses, or are we just going to send things separately and hope they change everything for everyone? Lorenzo, a non-binary creator in Columbus, Ohio, with over 884,000 TikTok followers, asked the group. Some jokes about collective bargaining. Any Newsies fans in here? Eliza Orlins, a public defender and reality TV star known for her appearances on Survivor, posted in the group. We are a union by just saying so. Clever. Wow. The influencers in the chat collectively had at least 13 million followers across social platforms. They represented some of the most well-known voices online posting in support of Democrats, and they're key to wherever the party moves next. But ultimately, the group didn't make much progress. Reading through this revised Chorus contract, like you win some, you lose some, a reproductive justice influencer named Parry, who posts under the handle Women in America, responded later in the thread. I also think there's at least 4 other things that should change, laughing emoji, but the vibe I got from their email was that there would be minimal, if any, changes. Interesting. That's usually, I mean, compared to Progressive Victory, that's the gist. The only changes to my content with Progressive Victory were that I got hooked up with people for interviews that I would never have come across by myself. That was it, really. Occasionally, I got some news prompts. Like I got a list of, here's some American politics news, Republicans, Democrats. Do you want to talk about any of them? That one? Okay, cool. Yeah. I don't feel strongly about pushing, to be honest. Aaron Parnas, a Gen Z news influencer who has been called the Gen Z Walter Cronkite, has been lauded in legacy media outlets, posted to the chat. They aren't going to modify it anymore. Seems like a take it or leave it. Parnas declined to comment. I believe... Oh yeah, Lorenzo and Parry didn't reply to request for comment either. I believe we're in stage 5. Acceptance, Parry responded. Creators began signing to the deal. For years, Democrats have struggled to work with influencers. In 2024, President Joe Biden's White House snubbed several prominent content creators after they lightly criticized the administration over its policies on climate change, COVID, Gaza, and the TikTok ban. Content creators who challenged Kamala Harris, including Hassan Piker, a well-known influencer on the left, were similarly unwelcome at campaign events. Now, if this was the White House, the balcony where they're overlooking the White House, those interviews, which had Emma Vigeland, also very far left on all those issues. Emma Vigeland, Vosh, same. Destiny, well, less so. Erudite, like Brianna Wu, like those people, they were all there, right? Now, was Hassan actually exclusively not allowed to this event? Or in any case, Hassan is not a Democrat supporting influencer. I don't know why you would give a fuck. Why would you care? Anyway, Hassan hates the Democrats. He hates them. He despises them. I guess you won't say any potentially fair reasons why he wouldn't be invited to hang out with the DNC, but okay. After the Democrats lost in November, they faced a reckoning. It was clear that the party had failed to successfully navigate the new media landscape. While Republicans spent decades building a powerful and robust independent media infrastructure, maximizing controversy to drive attention and maintaining tight relationships with creators despite their small disagreements with Trump, the Democrats have largely relied on outdated strategies and traditional media to get their message out. Now, Democrats hope that the secretive... That is true. That is quite true. They have not utilized the new media in the same way. Also did the interview with Ro Khanna, and Cenk was there as well. Yeah, Cenk was there, yeah. Now, Democrats hope that the secretive course creator incubator program, funded by a powerful liberal dark money group called the 1630 Fund, might tip the scales. The program kicked off last month, and creators involved were told by Chorus that over 90 influencers were set to take part. Creators told Wired that the contract stipulated they'd be kicked out and essentially cut off financially if they even so much as acknowledged that they were part of the program. Ooh. Some creators also raised concerns about a slew of restrictive clauses in the contract. Influencers included communication about the program, and in some cases, an onboarding session for those receiving payments from the 1630 Fund include Olivia Juliana, the centrist Gen Z influencer who spoke at the 2024 Democratic National Convention, Lauren Piretra, a former Playboy executive turned political influencer who hosts a podcast for Occupy Democrats, Barrett Adair, a content creator who runs an American Girl doll themed pro-DNC meme account, Suzanne Lambert, who called herself a Regina George liberal. Fuck me, these people. Ooh. Ariel Foder, an education creator with 1.4 million followers on TikTok. Sandra Jennings, a former TLC reality star and older brother of trans influencer Jazz Jennings. David Pacman, who hosts an independent progressive show on YouTube covering news and politics. Lee McGowan, who goes by the online moniker Politics Girl, and dozens of others. The first two declined to comment. The rest did not respond to requests for comment. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired that creators signed, the influencers are not allowed to disclose their relationship with Chorus or the 1630 Fund, or functionally that they're being paid at all. Okay, so a big claim there. We might as well note it down. A big claim there is that, because I think if you're doing political messaging for anyone, even if it is opinions that you already would have been giving anyway, you should probably disclose. A big claim. Creators not allowed to disclose relationship with Chorus or the 1630 Fund. Or functionally that they're being paid at all. Huge. Dozens of liberal influencers are believed to have been approached by Chorus about the 1630 Fund financing opportunity this spring. They were told that Chorus appreciated the work they were doing online and were asked if they'd be interested in being part of the first cohort of a new program that Chorus was running to help expand their reach and impact, creators tell Wired. But following the initial outreach, many creators expressed concern about some stipulations. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired, creators in the program must funnel all bookings with lawmakers and political leaders through Chorus. Creators also have to loop Chorus in on any independently organized engagements with government officials or political leaders. If I want to work with another politician, I have to fully collaborate with them, said one creator who was offered the contract but ultimately declined to take it and asked to not be named. If I get Zohran and he wants to do an interview with me, I don't want to give that to them. Okay. Creators had to loop Chorus in on any independently organized engagements with government officials or political leaders. If this is true, this is already very different from PV. PV was very loosey-goosey, maybe actually to their detriment, but okay. Creators in the program are not allowed to use any funds or resources that they receive as part of the program to make content that supports or opposes any political candidate or campaign without express authorization from Chorus in advance and in writing per the contract. The contracts reviewed by Wired prohibit standard partnership disclosures, declaring that creators will not publicize their relationship with Chorus or tell others that they're members of the program without Chorus's prior express consent. They also forbid creators from disclosing the identity of any funder. Is that where the dark money comes in? Forbids creators from disclosing the identity of any funder, and give Chorus the ability to force creators to remove or correct content based solely on the organization's discretion if that content was made at a Chorus organized event. If it's at their event, if they host an event, I feel like they would want, they'd be, if you're hosting an event, then it's probably a bit different to say that, okay. Creators forbidden contract gave Chorus the ability to force creators to remove or correct content based solely on organization discretion if that content was made at a, I mean, if it depends on what this event is, but if they host an event where you can go and make content, then in certain scenarios, they would be within their rights to control which content you produce in the event, right? Like if you go on a BBC show or whatever, like say Question Time, then I don't think you're just allowed to get your iPhone out and start filming in between the actual session and show your own shit, right? Like that's, obviously it's like they're building as their event and they've got the discretion over what comes out of it, but okay. There are some real great advantages to housing this program in a non-profit, Graham Wilson, a lawyer working with Chorus, said to creators on a Zoom call reviewed by Wired. It gives us the ability to raise money from donors. It also, with this structure, it avoids a lot of the public disclosure or public disclaimers, you know, paid for by blah, 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 that you see on political ads. We don't need to deal with any of that. Your names aren't showing up on like reports filed with the FEC. Wilson did not reply to a request for comment. The donor class, wow. The FEC declined to comment, the Federal Election Commission. Well, probably because it's not by the DNC, right? That's probably why they wouldn't call it a political ad, but in the same way, like legally. And the goal of Chorus, according to a fundraising deck obtained by Wired, it is to build new infrastructure to fund independent progressive voices online at scale. The creators who joined the incubator are expected to attend regular advocacy trainings and daily messaging check-ins. Those messaging check-ins are led by Cohen on rapid response days. The creators also have to attend at least 2 Chorus newsroom events per month, which are events Chorus plans, often with lawmakers. Okay? Creators attend at least 2 Chorus newsroom events per month, which are events Chorus plans, often with lawmakers. When I was in PV, you would meet once a week and they would talk about what's in the news, and then people could just choose whatever shit they wanted to talk about. That was PV's thing. Elizabeth Dubois, an assistant professor and university research chair in politics, communication, and technology at the University of Ottawa, who has researched the ways influencers are reshaping the US political system, says that we are seeing influencers being pulled into these dark campaigns or shadow campaigns where the legal aspect is murky at best. Wow. Sometimes it is actually clear that influencers are being used to, for example, evade spending limits, she says. I think that we need to remember that for democracy to thrive, we do need transparency around who is paying for political messages. Don Hyder, the chief executive of the Markula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara University, says that the outlined restrictions violate ethical norms. If the contract for getting money from a particular interest group says you can't disclose it, then it's pretty simple. You can't take the money, he says. We're living in an era where a lot of powerful people have basically taken the rule book and thrown it out the window. How is this dark money? That dark adjective is probably just used in the most loose and liberal way possible. Liberal. Okay. Chief executive for Markula Center for Applied Ethics at Santa Clara. If the contract for getting money from a particular interest group says you can't disclose it, then it's pretty simple. You can't take the money. I'd also be careful with a lot of these terms because an interest group versus like a PAC or a company or the party itself, like these are all different groups. So I think their rules wouldn't be exactly the same either. So I'd probably have to see exactly what kind of group this was and whether it applies to these standards. But okay. Because so far I'm not actually learning all that much about Chorus themselves. Might see if they have a website and whatever else they have to say about themselves. Keith Edwards, Democratic content creator who has skyrocketed to fame on YouTube since starting his channel last year, was not invited to be part of the program, but believes that the way it was structured seemed predatory. He says that he would never agree to take part in a program that was run in secret or wouldn't allow him to disclose funding. So this is just a statement from someone who's not even involved in them. Okay. What I don't understand is, why wouldn't you just donate to creators directly who have already built something and just need to put gasoline on the fire, says Edwards. Democrats at least understand that the internet exists now, so that's good, but they still think influencers are just there to do a terrible direct-to-camera interview that no one watches rather than just treating us like another form of media. The influencers offered the funding were given just days to sign the contract, which was essentially presented on a take-it-or-leave-it basis. At least one cohort was specifically told they could not have their lawyers redline it. Interesting. At least one cohort specifically told they could not have their lawyers redline the contract. In the group chat formed to discuss contract negotiations, some creators discussed a clause prohibiting the disparagement of other creators. Not being able to criticize anyone else affiliated with Chorus felt restrictive to some, according to text messages posted to the chat. Yeah. PV was not like that. God, there were people shitting at each other all the fucking time anyway. Okay. No, I do not want to watch trigonometry right now. Eventually, the creators in the group chat agreed to drop the issues they had. I don't think Chorus is out to screw us, Orlin's a creator who was offered $8,000 a month said in the group chat. Some influencers for Chorus Creator Incubator Program were offered as little as $250 per month, according to one creator who declined to accept the deal, while others were offered membership into the Amplifier cohort, which provides up to $8K a month. The 1630 Fund has emerged as a powerful funder in the democratic spaces in recent years. Its website notes that issues supported by the organization include economic equality, affordable healthcare, climate solutions, racial justice, voter access, and other essential social change goals. The organization was founded in 2009 as a liberal response to conservative dark money groups and organizations like the Koch network, and under Trump it has soared. Okay, 1630 Fund supports issues around economic equality, affordable health care, climate solutions, racial justice, voter access. Okay. Founded 2009 as a response to conservative dark. I love dark money. You just throw in dark. It's like big pharma, big tech, big money. Okay, in 2018, the 1630 Fund provided $141 million to more than 100 left-leaning causes in order to bolster Democratic support during the midterms, according to a tax filing obtained by Politico. In 2020, the fund distributed more than $400 million according to the organization's public tax filing, which Politico said was used in efforts to unseat then-President Donald Trump and Republican Senate majority. That's terrible. Wow. Fund provided $141 million to more than 100 left-leaning causes to help Dems during the midterms. 2020 distributed more than $400 million in efforts to unseat then President Donald Trump and Republicans Senate majority. Wow. Well done, Lonerbox. Haven't done my fucking typing challenges recently, have I? On my new keyboard. Okay. In 2022, the 1630 Fund spent $196 million backing state ballot measures on abortion rights heading into the midterms, according to NBC. Just 4 donors accounted for close to 2/3 of the fund's revenue in 2023, according to its tax filing. Wow. So it's like rich people who want to support the Democrats. 4 donors account for almost 2/3 of funding in revenue. Largest donor gave 50 million, and others 21 pounds. The fuck? 21 and 13 mil. That's huge. Not pounds. Disgusting. The 1630 Fund, which is not required to disclose its contributors, has for years been a major funding source for liberal and progressive causes and groups, including those that spend in elections, says Walker Davis, a research director for Open Government Group Citizens and for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. Though their recent tax returns indicate that they have pulled back from the eye-popping sums they raised and spent in 2020, the organization is still one of the top-spending, politically oriented nonprofits in the country. Chorus, which is described in contracts reviewed by Wired as a project of the 1630 Fund that handles operations for the Creator Program, launched in November 2024 as a non-profit arm of Good Influence, a for-profit influencer marketing agency aimed at helping content creators connect with social good campaigns. Good Influence was founded in October 2020 by Stuart Perlmutter, the former communications director for Representative John Yarmouth of Kentucky. Seeing an opportunity after Kamala's loss last November, Perlmutter co-funded Chorus with Democratic influencer Brian Tyler Cohen, who has over 4.6 million subscribers on YouTube and leads messaging check-ins for the creator cohort on rapid response days. Oh, BTC is very involved, I see. Wow. According to records reviewed by Wired, Chorus claims that its initial creator cohort has a collective audience of more than 40 million followers with more than 100 million weekly viewers, and that the organization has hundreds of creators signed up and ready to amplify messaging. Ooh. I've spent most of my career researching right-wing media and sounding the alarms about the collapse of our old information environment, Ellie Langford, the director of programming at Chorus, said on a Zoom call with dozens of creators in June. Our political systems haven't been able to figure out a real solution, and I've been really excited to see you all treading the path forward. I deeply, deeply believe that the work you are all doing is what's going to make the difference in supporting and frankly resuscitating our democracy. Already, creators in the program are creating content together. In a weekly news series called Good News in Politics, 6 creators in the program shared a collaborative video running through political wins. Follow these creators, bringing you hope instead of doom scrolling. Sandra Jennings, Zero Orleans, Jess Craven, I don't know any of these people, the Zactivist. While some creators have been eager to work with Cohort, am I feeling really fucking dumb? How do we know about these people being linked with Cohort if Cohort said that you're not supposed to disclose that you're with them? Whatever. That might be a very silly question. We'll get back to it. Okay. Maybe someone on chat will just set me straight. It's not that obvious. I don't think it's that obvious. While some creators have been eager to work with Chorus, others distrust the organization. This spring, Chorus faced a wave of backlash from prominent content creators whose images were included in the firm's fundraising decks without permission. I was included in some of Chorus's decks, like "We have access to V when you do not," said V. Spehar, a liberal content creator with over 3.5 million followers on TikTok. The faces of several well-known influencers were featured prominently on the Chorus website beneath a giant donate button. However, users who clicked the button were taken to a fundraising page for Chorus instead of anywhere their dollars would go directly to the creators featured. Progressive YouTuber and former Media Matters staffer Kat Abu Ghazaleh, who's running for Congress in Illinois, was pictured on Chorus's website and included in fundraising decks without her consent. Ooh. YouTuber pictured on Chorus's website, which included fundraising decks and included in fundraising decks without her. Wow. She asked that her image and name be removed and no longer used for fundraising purposes. Spayar and other content creators have accused Chorus of attempting to establish themselves as a gatekeeper to democratic political leaders. What we need is for people to invest in independent media. And that doesn't necessarily mean investing in a consulting group that is going to become a middleman for independent media. Several influencers who doggedly defended Chorus through that controversy, including Elizabeth Booker Houston, a Democratic comedian and content creator on Instagram, and Ali O'Brien, a progressive creator with more than 600,000 followers on TikTok, were involved in membership talks for the highest paid tier in Chorus's new creator incubator program. Houston did not respond to requests for comment. O'Brien declined to comment. Still, some creators heard about the 1630 Fund and Chorus Funding Initiative and applied to join. One creator named Chesko, who goes by the Speech Prof online, applied to join the program because he viewed it as an opportunity to get access to people that have funding or backing and actual research that I could use, he says. Ultimately, he wasn't accepted and received an email on June 26 rejecting his application. We are planning to bring more creators into the incubator program in the near future, Chorus wrote. The structure of the program highlights the vast differences between how Democrats and Republicans attempt to amass influence online. Republicans spent decades building up a powerful independent media ecosystem, though the right-wing influencer world is far from transparent. Really, tenant media, yeah. Fucking hell. I just want to say, I'm so happy for the Republicans and the conservatives, the fact that they can do this with like Charlie Kirk, with the amount of money that gets fucking rammed into his projects, and the fact that tenant media was a thing and they can just chug along like nothing happened. Like Tim Pool just literally says, "Oh yeah, it's in a federal indictment." Oh, what? How do you know that's real? Dude. In September 24, a federal indictment alleged that the Russian state-sponsored network RT was covertly providing millions in funding to Tenant Media, a company working with major right-wing influencers including Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Lauren Southern. In 2024, a National Republican Congressional Committee spent nearly $500,000 on work with creator Grid, an influencer marketing company whose website says it connects Republican candidates with the internet's most powerful conservative influencers, according to analysis of campaign finance filings from the Washington Post. Stephen Buckley, a digital media sociologist at City St George's University of London, says that these sorts of programs have been happening in the right wing for ages. But Hyder said the structure of the 1630 Fund deal raises the question: is it ethical to match the tactics of your opponents? The fact that she has written this, that Taylor Lorenz chose to put that paragraph after Tenet Media, which was Russian state media money from the Russian government, a US adversary that's currently invading their neighbor, and committing all the war crimes under the sun, they used a shell company to hide the fact that they were even Russian state media money at all, and are part of a federal indictment for two of the Russians that were involved in it. That's insane. That's so cringe. Why would you do that right after your paragraph about Tenet Media? Match the tactics. Are you fucking joking? Dude. What? The Democrats appear to have no real counter to the system. Democrats missed the next generation of media, says Brendan Gahan, co-founder and influencer of marketing agency Creator Authority. Historically, they owned Hollywood, but this next generation of that influence is digital, and they've miscalculated that. I don't think they feel comfortable in arenas where they lack control. Wow. So interesting that it has nothing to do with Progressive Victory, even though it's got a lot of people talking about them. I guess we'll see what the responses are and then just see which of these claims are maybe sticking out. There's a few I'd maybe want to look further into. Anyway, Brian Tyler Cohen's important, I guess, because he co-founded. So we'll see what he says in his response.
At the risk of giving an internet troll more attention, I want to address a piece that Taylor Lorenz wrote yesterday for Wired. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Literally nothing in this statement is true. The article is about Chorus, which is a nonprofit that I helped found to build up our creator ecosystem, which everybody says they want, but few are doing. So here's what Chorus is. It is a scholarship program to teach creators how to grow their accounts, foster engagement, launch their own shows, and become profitable on their own. It's an incubator program to build the pro-democracy ecosystem. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming. Literally nothing in this statement is true. The article is about Chorus, which is a nonprofit that I helped found to build up our creator ecosystem, which everybody says they want, but few are doing. So here's what Chorus is. It is a scholarship program to teach creators how to grow their accounts, foster engagement, launch their own shows, and become profitable on their own. It's an incubator program to build the pro-democracy ecosystem. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The right has been doing this for years, and the left needs to catch up. That's why we're doing this with Chorus. So let's talk about what Chorus is and what it's not. Chorus does not pay creators for content, does not tell them what to say, does not control who they talk to or work with, and there is absolutely nothing in the contract that could even be reasonably interpreted to say that we do. Period. Full stop. I don't know a single creator who would willfully sign up for a program that would tell them what they can or can't say. That's not what this program is. We pay people to show up to workshops and technical trainings to optimize their content online. For example, we've got trainings on how to package content for YouTube, training.
So what's the claim here? Is the claim that the people who Taylor Lorenz interviewed or got statements from were lying? Because that would mean that these statements are like they're lies, right? That's what he's asserting, right? That she's quoting creators who have lied about the contracts. You win some, you lose some. Wait, where are the ones where the creators actually say, is the contract published anywhere? I don't know. Probably not. Or that she lied. Yeah. Help expand their reach and impact. Well, that sounds about right. If I want to work with another politician, I have to fully collaborate with them. So they'd be kicked out and cut off if they so much as acknowledge that they were part of the program. Okay.
Trainings on how to optimize audience retention for Instagram and TikTok, trainings on how to form an LLC. Again, there are zero restrictions on their content. And by the way, the program works. In just 2 months, our cohort has added a combined 6 million followers, that's not including me, and seen their views and engagement grow. That is the point of the program, to teach creators how to be effective with whatever messages they want to promote. And with regard to keeping it a secret, there is a standard confidentiality clause in the contract to protect the privacy of the creators. On the literal first day of the program, it was made clear to all of the creators in our kickoff session that they were absolutely free to talk about Chorus. And we immediately formed an LLC. Again, there are zero restrictions on their content. And by the way, the program works. In just
Oh God, this isn't what I think it is. If Taylor has taken a lot of this from what content creators have said about it, if there is a standard confidentiality clause, there's no way that means that this is just like young YouTubers who don't know what a contract is supposed to look like. I mean, they also said that like they wouldn't let lawyers redline the thing, so there's no way.
2 months, our cohort has added a combined 6 million followers, that's not including me, and seen their views and engagement grow. That is the point of the program, to teach creators how to be effective with whatever messages they want to promote. And with regard to keeping it a secret, there is a standard confidentiality clause in the contract to protect the privacy of the creators. On the literal first day of the program, it was made clear to all of the creators in our kickoff session that they were absolutely free to talk about Chorus. And we immediately followed up to confirm that in writing. Creators have videos about Chorus. They've got donation links to Chorus in their bios. I myself have made videos that were posted all over the internet about Chorus that reached hundreds of thousands of people. It is not a secret.
That's what I'm not sure about. Why are creators talking about Chorus if the contract says you can't talk about Chorus, like fucking Fight Club? I don't know.
And it never was. There's the implication in the article that this is some arm of the DNC or the Democratic Party. We have literally nothing to do with the DNC. I spend 0 minutes of my day thinking about the DNC. The creators do not toe any party line. How could we? There isn't a party line. Creators are absolutely allowed to speak out against the Democrats, and in fact, plenty do. And frankly, Chorus creators should and do criticize Democrats when they suck, and quite often, they do suck. I've seen posts saying that this is APAC funded, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'd venture to guess that most Chorus creators, myself included on both YouTube and Substack, have spoken out against the atrocities in Gaza. Lorenz says that the 1630 Fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 Fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund
APAC.
is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters in Residence program, which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month. So she's criticizing an entity that is funded by someone.
No, I saw this was a fight on Twitter. Okay, we need to understand this. What's going on here? One of the funders of 1630 funds Taylor Lorenz. Is that right? Jessica Burbank. Okay. Wait. Be careful though. Why would you tweet my abuser's name at me? Oh no. Oh no. Wait. This is fuck. Taylor Lorenz doesn't know how to deal with that. That's her strategy. That's what Taylor does. Oh shit. She's meeting her match. Wait, what? Where does it start? Okay, where is the... Wait, what did Brian say? We need to just double check the claim.
They've got donation links to Chorus in their bios. I myself have made videos that were posted all over the internet about Chorus that reached hundreds of thousands of people. It is not a secret, and it never was. There's the implication in the article that this is some arm of the DNC or the Democratic Party. We have literally nothing to do with the DNC. I spend 0 minutes of my day thinking about the DNC. The creators do not toe any party line. How could we? There isn't a party line. Creators are absolutely allowed to speak out against the Democrats, and in fact, Plenty do. And frankly, Chorus creators should and do criticize Democrats when they suck. And quite often, they do suck. I've seen posts saying that this is APAC funded, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'd venture to guess that
Nice.
most Chorus creators, myself included on both YouTube and Substack, have spoken out against the atrocities in Gaza. Lorenz says that the 1630 Fund is, quote, a powerful liberal dark money group. 1630 Fund is our fiscal sponsor. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters and Residents
Okay, wait. One of the largest donors to 1630.
program. One of the largest documented donors to 1630 Fund is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters and Residents program, which
Meteor's Reporters and Residents is a what? What's that word he's using? I don't know what word he's saying there. Media? He's not saying fucking media. Shut up.
to 1630 Fund is the same person funding Meteor's Reporters and Residents program,
Meat eaters. Meteors. Reporters, Meteors. Okay, why not? Reporters and Residents Fund. Okay.
which Taylor Lorenz herself is a part of. And guess what her monthly stipend is? $8,000 per month. So she's criticizing an entity that is funded by someone that she is currently taking money from. I guess it's okay when Taylor Lorenz gets paid, but no one else.
Wow.
The monthly stipend that we offer is so that creators can do this work.
So yeah, not 1630 that pays her, but one of the biggest donors to 1630 funds something that she gets paid by. So okay.
Full time. We've had numerous creators in the cohort quit their jobs so that they can focus on creating content full time. That is what we want. I'm really proud that we can give creators that security for as long as they're in the program. We want people to create pro-democracy content full time, and we want to make sure that they can afford to pay their rent and their bills while doing it. If I could have cohorts with 1,000 people in it so that everybody could be part of the program, I would. For everybody saying that they would like to be part of the next cohort, we would love for you to apply. That's our whole goal. It's to build up an army of pro-democracy content creators who can speak authentically about the issues that they care about and be able to do it as effectively as possible. I should note that while I started this program, I have never and will never get paid. I do this 100% as a volunteer. I have never earned a dime from Chorus, and I never will. I want every dollar that we raise to go to creators so that they can do this important work without spending 8 hours a day working at some different job. I've been saying for years that the left needs to build up its creator space. That has never been more true than it is right now. Influencers and creators have never been more important when it comes to how Americans are consuming their news. The left is a decade behind right now. We desperately need incubators teaching and amplifying new content creators.
Apply for it. You're probably bigger than people getting paid. Dude, I'm not American. I'm not going to become a DNC Jewish content creator. I'm not going to be like a DNC focused creator. No, fuck that.
And not just Chorus, by the way. There are other programs in this space doing the same thing. I want all of them to succeed. We need all of them to succeed. There are people like Taylor Lorenz who are desperate to tear the left apart. And in fact, it becomes clear who her efforts help when you hear stuff like this.
Genuinely, I kind of like Taylor Lorenz because I know that she actually believes what she says.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I generally don't align myself with friends of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. I continue to believe that the left needs massive investments into the independent media space. I'm really proud of the program that we've built. I'm really proud that we've
They're not required to be DNC focused. I'm pretty sure you probably aren't going to be involved in this shit if you're a Republican. Or if you're just like going to talk about Middle East politics. I don't think that's what they're after. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. In any case, okay, I'm independent, okay? I just do my thing. 8K a month, though. Well, chat, there is a goal, okay, in the super chats, and it was not impossible to get me 8K this month. It's not impossible. If you guys work really hard, okay, as well as liking the stream, because that doesn't cost you anything, but it might help me in some opaque way. I mean, we're going to do it together, okay? We don't need help. Fuck this.
Creators to do this work full time. I'm really proud of the independence that they have to say whatever they want to say in whatever way they want to say it. I'm really proud that our creators are seeing their channels and their pages grow. My goal is to see an army emerge from the left to take on what's happening on the right. Taylor Lorenz and Republicans don't want to see it, but we do. If you also want to get in the fight, apply to the program at wearechorus.org.
Ooh, he's promoting. Shit. Lots of replies. Okay. What the fuck? What's this? Not that I have any sympathy for Taylor Lorenz, but, quote, we didn't put any restrictions on what they could say is kind of a cop-out answer. That's how soft power works. I mean, when I was with Progressive Victory, again, they probably were not going to hire me if I was just going to be promoting Republicans. I feel like it was fairly well understood that I was not going to be spending the year helping Republicans get elected. That's not really my style. It's not really ever been my style. I've never shown any indication I would do that. They don't really need to tell me not to do that. So I guess that's soft power, you know? If I change my mind, I would suddenly be like, oh shit. I guess I just have to keep on pretending or just quit. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but we literally don't put any restriction on what people can say. I don't know how much clearer we could be. We literally do not have any oversight over people's content, nor do we want it. It's literally called chorus. What does a chorus do? A chorus echoes a song. Oh, nice one. Fucking banger. This guy. There's no getting around this guy. Absolutely shagged. BTC. Fucked. Cooked senseless. All right, stream chat. This is the thing. Announces the 6th class of reporters. Okay. Omidyar, whatever the fuck that was called. Network. 6th class of reporters in residence, including Taylor Lorenz, right there. Okay, so that's real. We do know that she was a reporter in residence. Nice one. You can actually just do this. You can just get paid $8,000 a month to go somewhere and be a hack. That's nice. A technology journalist and content creator with over 542,000 followers on TikTok and nearly 153,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's the founder of User Magazine, a tech and online culture newsletter, host of the weekly tech podcast, Power User, former technology columnist at the Washington Post, technology reporter for the New York Times, Atlantic, and Business Insider. Her writing has appeared in New York Magazine, Rolling Stone, Hollywood Reporter, author of the best-selling book, Extremely Online, The Untold Story of Fame, Influence, and Power on the Internet. Okay, good for you, Lily. Let's see. Oh, now who's this dude? She was at WAPO. She was, yeah. Isn't that where she wrote the article about Libs of TikTok? She did one video crying about being doxxed, and then she doxed Libs of TikTok. Which, I mean, based, but who are these guys? Who are you? Pierre Omidyar, founder of eBay. Okay, founded eBay. Iranian dark money. Is there an article about this? Oh yeah, it's here. Founder of eBay. Nice one. Okay. Now, where is the filing that shows Taylor Lorenz getting paid by this dude? And also, so we need to find this guy, or this organization funding, like actually paying Taylor, and we need to find them giving money to 1630, right? And then that shows that there's a connection. Okay. Responses from some of the cohort creators. Cute. Hang on, wait. Where do I get that? Does the network fund 1630? Taylor Lorenz is saying now, oh no, I didn't get any money from 1630, but that's not the claim. The claim is that one of the biggest funders of 1630 also funds her. Oh, it'd be a funder. It wouldn't actually be the network though, would it? Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. That's going to take a while. That's going to be like FEC fund, whatever. Response from a cohort creator. Okay, too raw, too real. Wow.
Damn it, Taylor, you caught me. You caught me like Colonel Mustard in the Library of the Candlestick. You got the clue, girl. You did it. This is what we talking about, real journalism. I'm talking about she's giving Diane Sawyer a run for her motherfucking money.
What is it? Diane, tell me. Do you know? Do you really know? Do you really know?
No, you know.
You want me to be part? Fuck you. You want me to be part of this fucking generation? You want me to do this kind of shit? You want me to put on this voice? Do these? Fuck off.
Let me start off by saying this. Taylor Lorenz, you're a piece of shit, and I don't know how you can call yourself a journalist without even doing a lick of fucking research. You're just thirsty. So I want you to drink this up. You said in your article that we are not allowed to disclose the fact that we are cohorts of chorus. If that's the case, then why did it November 20th, to be precise, 2 weeks after the election, I had a donation link and a video disclosing the fact that I was trying to partner up with Chorus where we were trying to get funding. There was a donation link and it's still up there in my bio. This isn't breaking news. My followers know. Everybody knows. We hosted forums. I'm confused on how this is news. And secondly, you wrote about Chorus before. Did you not write an article saying that they weren't paying content creators? Chorus isn't doing anything. The content creators feel like they're not getting paid. They're doing free labor, this, that, and the other. So which one is it? Are we getting paid? Are we not getting paid? What the fuck do you really know? Thirdly, and apparently, we're not allowed to bash Democrats or actually give them any type of constructive criticism. However, I swear I'd be on damn Bernie Sanders' ass like flies on shit. I do call my video.
Okay, wait, hang on. Isn't Bernie an independent now? It's not a good idea. It's not a good comparison. Okay, wait. Where do they say that they can't criticize Democrats? Was that actually in the article, or was that just an implication? Right at the top. Democratic influencers, bolstering Democratic messaging. Where? Right at the top? Keep it secret. Oh, restrictions on content, I guess. Oh, party line. Oh, yeah, push the party line, I guess. Yeah. But, okay, Bernie's not the best example, but let's see. It's not a good one. It's not even, I would say not the best, it's just a bad one.
Video going viral of what the fuck, Chuck, when I called him out about the continuing resolution and how he did not hold the motherfucking line with the rest of the damn Democrats in the House. Because motherfuckers like this will not get the job done. How can you sit here and say that you
This stuff is so boring, man. No wonder you have so few viewers. Leave then. Why are you here? You're boring. What the fuck? Of all the places on earth that you could be, you are here, Elf. Jesus.
Care about us, but you're selling us to Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I don't see how you can say that you care about Medicaid and you care about veterans and all these other things, but you said that you're going to vote for this shit. What are we doing here? I'm confused. Nothing you're saying is making any sense, and my platform shows something of the contrary, ma'am. Ain't been nothing but full transparency over here, sis. Seems like you're just a saltine salad. Eat you a salad, sis. You're not yourself when you're hungry. Make sure you get a lot of croutons and some ranch dressing to match your complexion, because that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? Y'all are so used to content creators always doing shit for free, and y'all don't think that we deserve the funding, when the mere fact of the matter is people rely on influencers, particular content creators, to get their news, because we understand that corporate media isn't reliable anymore. This is like the second failed article that you wrote about Chorus, and since you don't know shit about it, let me tell you about it. Chorus is a cohort working with content creators for us to get trained and paid, and the training is so that we can be better. I swore my videos have gotten better. Better set piece, better lighting, a motherfucking microphone, all because we're sharing fucking ideas. Are we all doing the same type of videos? No. Are we all talking about the same thing? No. I talk about the shit that I want to talk about. I'm not obligated to do any video other than what I want to do. So everything she's saying is bullshit, because you know white women love to lie. But the thing that's concerning me is this white woman's lie might put people like me and other content creators in danger.
Oh, not the race card, not the out woke.
Suzanne Lambert. Actually, George Soros bought my car directly with his credit card, which was so nice of him. And I want to be abundantly clear right on the outset.
These guys are so TikTok. Hey.
This is not me convincing. This is not me trying to persuade. These are the objective, irrefutable facts. And if you choose not to believe an entire group of widely respected, smart, credible people over a perpetually disgraced ex-journalist turned beggar for Substack subscriptions, then I think you are, and I need you to listen to
Okay, listen, let's not get fucking drunk on the Taylor Lorenz hate, even though it's very fucking funny. Okay.
Profoundly stupid, and I don't want you following me anyway. Just so we're super clear. So first on Taylor Lorenz, I have never met a more widely hated, universally contemptible person beyond Taylor Lorenz, except for Ted Cruz. I have never met another journalist who respects her. I have never met an interview subject who was not misquoted by her. And this is all widely documented. Taylor Lorenz cannot stand content creators, and she doesn't like content creators because she does not stand to benefit from that landscape, despite being a content creator herself. And frankly, I don't blame her. Honestly, if I had spent my entire career trying to be good and relevant and taken seriously at something, only for people to come in who I deem less qualified, do way better, and have way better engagement than me, I would also likely be pissed. And maybe that's why she's super weird towards me. She made a video about me in February that a few people messaged me about. I guess essentially saying that I was begging for media attention, which you wish, babe. My inbox stays full. I'm sorry yours doesn't, but that's not my problem. But then when I was like, wait, what video? She had deleted it, which to me is just not behavior characteristic of a serious journalist. She talked about me to people at a White House Correspondents' Dinner event, but then never came up to me or introduced herself. So she talks a huge game online and not in person, as with most of these people. And there is so much more here. You can Google it. I think that would benefit a lot of you actually, but that is your source for this article, just so we're starting on the same page. On to the article itself. I have never been paid to make content by Chorus. That has never happened, nor have I broken any guidelines as far as disclosures. Chorus is an incubator program, so think of Chorus as like a hypo program, which I doubt a lot of you are in, or a leader development program, mentor program, etc. That is what Chorus seeks to do. And Taylor very dishonestly framed it as we are secretly getting paid. Let me ask you a question. When you get paid at your job, are you secretly getting paid because it's not announced to the internet? No, you are simply getting paid. I am not required to disclose all of my income streams on the internet. I am not required to tell you if I am getting paid unless it is sponsored content, which it is not. It goes back to the quote, everything feels like a conspiracy when you don't understand how anything works.
Yep.
I am not obligated to tell you what stocks
God, these guys, I should join this organization. These guys are based. These guys are hitting all the lines. Yes, people who do these conspiracy theories, like people who link progressive victory to this, it's so much of this issue is just boiled down to the fact that no one understands how any of these systems work. And it's usually the people who hate liberalism. They hate institutions, they hate democracies, they hate Western democracies specifically. They don't, of course, they don't care to learn about any of these systems because they don't know how any of them fucking work. They don't like them.
The only time I am obligated to tell you when I have been paid for something is when I am doing sponsored content and the law otherwise says so. She said that we were not allowed to say that we are in Chorus when other creators have already shown that they have very clearly talked about Chorus. I have not talked about Chorus for the simple reason of what the fuck would I say beyond, hey guys, today I sat on a Zoom meeting and learned how to make YouTube thumbnails more visually appealing.
Cute.
And Taylor acknowledged this herself later on. So if some of y'all pretend that your issue is disclosures and then it turns out that we didn't break any rules about disclosures, what you are actually mad at, and I need you to be honest about this, is that creators are making money. And that you don't think that we should get paid for the work that we do. And I will never apologize for making money. Best wishes and high fives don't pay my bills. When did I take a vow of poverty? I am not a Jesuit priest or a monk. What about me told you that I didn't care about money? Because now I'm getting all these comments, oh, you switched up, oh, you're such a sellout. Let me ask you something. What did I switch up about? What did I used to say that I'm not saying anymore? What position?
No one can answer these questions about fucking anyone. It's like it's so stupid, man. Like, yeah, so Progressive Victory, for example, they start working with me in sort of like early 2024, I think. It was just after Ohio, or around the same time as Ohio, when I was like properly like in their monthly fucking thing. Yeah, what changed, really? What changed? Because did I used to support Trump?
Did I drastically change? I have always been an entertainment-first comedian who talks about, amongst other things, making fun of MAGA politicians, making fun of MAGA, and making fun of the far left. If you genuinely think the problem is content creators making money and not all the atrocities being committed in this world, then congratulations. The propaganda worked on you too, and you are an incredibly useful idiot. Let me ask you something else. Do you honestly think, with all of the lawyers in the group, Elizabeth Booker Houston, Eliza Orland, Aaron Parnas, to name a few, that we would sign contracts that required us to participate in unlawful activity, like doing sponsored content without disclosing it? Do you think me, as someone who worked in finance for 10 years and is represented by some of the best lawyers, best talent agencies in the world, would do that? Why would that make sense for me? For the amount of $8,000 a month? Which of course some of you say is too much and some of you say is too little. So again, y'all need to tighten up your messaging. Maybe get funded by dark money. I don't know. And the lies that have come out of this from extremists on the left and right is genuinely terrifying. I have never been paid by AIPAC. I have never posted anything I didn't believe. Nor have I ever been approached by an organization who wanted me to say things that I didn't actually believe in. Because why would they hire me if I had previously said things that counteracted the message they're trying to get across?
Oh no, that's like the entire AIPAC argument, isn't it? Why does AIPAC fund politicians? Oh, it's probably because those politicians were already saying shit that AIPAC likes. Like, why would they take someone? Why would like AIPAC go to fucking Cenk and just say, hey, listen, Cenk, listen, we got our differences, but maybe if my my old friend Rabbi Burns can come and sway your position a little bit. Maybe if my good lady, Queen Elizabeth II.
Doing a brand deal with someone who doesn't wear makeup, or Olaplex doing a brand deal with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've never taken money from the DNC. To be abundantly clear, I would. If they wanted to pay me to go to the DNC, I would go and it would be disclosed. And I found this disclaimer in her Substack super interesting because it says right here she has no institutional investors, and yet she is a part of a cohort similar to Chorus that is funded by, wait for it, the exact same people. So again,
that's not entirely correct though. It's a donor to 1630. It's not actually 1630. That's a big difference, just so you know. That's a huge distinguishing feature.
I have never been paid to make content.
But let's see what she said there. Hang on.
The exact course, and yet it says right here she has no.
I have 0 institutional investors or corporate backing. I guess because they're not necessarily an institutional investor or a corporation. Like that's what she gets. Taylor claims to have 0 institutional investors or corporate backing.
Yet she is a part of a cohort similar to Chorus that is funded by.
Subtly linking to a political article without explicitly saying Pierre Omidyar is one of their biggest funders, or that they are currently being paid by Omidyar Network as a reporter in residence. Ooh, I didn't know that. Bro, I didn't know that. Fuck. And that must mean she's never mentioned it.
Wait for it. The exact same people. So again, to reiterate, I have never been paid to make content by a dark money group. I have never regurgitated talking points from a dark money group. I've never been forced to say anything I did not believe. I'll leave you with this. If seeing people getting paid to work, who by the way, many of whom belong to marginalized communities that y'all claim to support and care about, if seeing them making money and working pisses you off, too fucking bad. Finally, the switch up from a lot of y'all has been crazy. The fact that so many of y'all...
First we had the black dude saying that she's like fucking with people of color, and now we got the white woman saying she's fucking with white women. Hey, yes. Damn, the structure of these blowouts are very similar. Must be some direction from the dark money source.
Willingly, blindly believe someone who is proven to be uncredible and getting in my comments saying all kind of awful things about me and the things I have chosen to be vulnerable with you about will not be soon forgotten by me. And when she again, inevitably, sympathizes with rhymes with Yahtzees like she did for Clock It 2 times
Yahtzees, hey.
This week, don't come crawling back to me.
H3 reactors hit 100K. Nice. Good one, Conduit. Well done.
So firstly, I...
No, I don't care. Fuck this channel. No, that was good. Good. Well done, Queen. Queen TikTok. Okay. TikTok speak. It's a thing, isn't it? The TikTok cadence. Okay. I don't want to go digging around for it, but if someone can send it to me, I need to see it. I just need to see the exact connection from... I need to find out the proof that Omidyar pays Taylor $8,000. I also need to see that Omidyar is funded by the same people or one of the same donors that fund 1630. Can I please? Jessica Burbank calls out Taylor Lorenz for publicly tweeting out her abuser's name. Ooh. Taylor Lorenz is using my story about SA against me because people are questioning her morals. Trusted you with my story. I'll be telling my story on my own terms, my own time. I need the whole fucking threads, dude. There's too much here. Jessica Burbank. Okay, here we go. She starts here. So Taylor... Wait, no? Before that. August 26th. No, it can't be that long ago. Jessica Burbank's a lefty. She's posting the Nathan Robinson guy. These guys are... It's all like left on left shit, isn't it? But just not extreme left, I guess. For a lot of them. Does Taylor do debates? She would be absolutely terrified to debate most of these people. Or, yeah. Even her debate with Libs of TikTok was like really lackluster. Yeah, she's a profoundly stupid person. Or ill, I don't know. So what's the context here? Seemingly, Jessica Burbank is the one who started the complete lie that I am somehow funded by 1630 Fund or that Omidyar Network reporting is... Oh, so she's saying it's not. She's saying Omidyar Network is not funded by... It's not funded by 1630, but it's apparently funded by a similar donor. Isn't that the thing? ON has received 0 funding from 1630. I've received 0 funding from 1630. This is a disgusting thing to do to another reporter. Oh, it's here. ChatGPT sent to Ken Klippenstein because of the... okay. Same donor as The Intercept. No fucking way. Shut up. Wait. How? Stop. 1630 Fund 2022 public disclosure. Send you some sources. Thank you. Get fucked. Let's get to the bottom of this. $8,000. Each reporter will receive a stipend of $8,000 a month and a $2,000 travel budget, totaling $50,000. Nice. Okay. Bad maths. I'm joking. Obviously, it's because of the annual. Okay. $8,000 stipend for each reporter. Okay. So that bit is done. Checklist. We got the 8,000. Now, The real meat. Contribution. Oh. To 1630. Yeah. But I thought it was a funder of Omidyar, not the network itself. Wait, hang on. What is the connection here? Omidyar's, they discussed that they were responsible for a 45 million gift, which went to Civic Action Fund, which is a project sponsored by 1630. So they paid for a 1630 project. They funded a 1630 project, okay? And his wife were responsible for a 45 million gift to Civic Action Fund, a project fiscally sponsored by 1630. Okay, is there anything closer than that? This screenshot is a refund 1630 sent from a program that Omidyar funded years ago before the Reporters in Residence program even began. The fact that Jessica Burlbank is, well, the fact that, so the money was, it was still donated. So it is interesting that you're calling it dark money, right? The money is like, yeah, it's dark money. And one of the people that's funding 1630 projects is also funding you, which means, like, what's the original source of the money? Like, what? The fact Jessica Burlbank is spreading complete fabrications about me in coordinated group chat of influencers is revealing. Jessica talking about how she's leveraging her connections in media to spread this stuff too. What other journalists has she been boosting this smear campaign to? My story with Wired is factual. Participating in a coordinated smear campaign is so low. She's such a fucking fanny, man. Here's a statement from Omidyar Network and the network's Reporters in Residence program. Neither I nor they have received funding from 1630. She's moving the goalposts. That's what she's doing. I have never received $1 from any dark money group or political organization. How can it not be, how can it be dark money? Wait. Why is it not dark money when it's like the same donor to the organization? Let's see. Omidyar is on page 82 of this financial disclosure from 1630. What's dishonest is you saying Omidyar has no financial ties to 1630. It wouldn't be the first time I've known you to be shady or dishonest. Whoa. Links. Page what? 82. Where are we? Civil Rights Social Action. Is that what this is? Oh, 1630 fund. Yeah. Amount of cash grant. Okay. Wait. Hang on. What am I looking for here? Obviously it's 1630, but where's the oh yeah, Omidyar Network Services 45. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Page 82. Omidyar Network Services LLC gave a cash grant of $45,000 to 1630 fund for civil rights, social action, advocacy in 2023. But page 82. For that year, it was 45K, yeah. Years ago. It's a refund, apparently. Okay. Is it? How do we know that? Where does it say that? Where's refund? This doesn't show that, but... Oh, check that they're not listed as hundreds. Amount of cash grant? No, it seems like it's... Yeah, it would be, because this is like 4.1 million. Unless you're saying they gave billions to open democracy. It's crazy how both Lance and Hassan made this story about you. They're retards. They don't know anything about anything. It's just what it... Yeah, PV is not mentioned. And everything I said about PV was disclosed, but they're liars. They're just storytellers. It is what it is. So he contributed to, well, this is 1630, right? This says 45 million. Or maybe it is in thousands. It would be, yeah. Yeah, this is right. Yeah. Okay, I'm stupid. Yeah, it's 45 million. Yeah, okay. It would be in thousands, yeah. Okay. And it went to the Civic Action Fund. Yeah, okay. But where's the refund? Where's the refund? Where's she getting that from? This is 2020. No, wait, we're talking 2023, though. Hang on. These are different. Amount of cash grant. Would it say at the top? No, I think this is just dollars. This is just like, it's not in thousands. There's a dot behind it. Okay. So it is 45 million? This is the same thing? Why would they give $45,024, I guess? But why is this from 2023? Does that mean they're still funding them? They're not just funding them in 2020? So this one's from 2020. In 2020? This is 2023. I'll just say 45,000. It's better to go under. Why not? Even though it might well be quite a bit more. I mean, I can see here 10 million, so it must be just like individual grants. It's a refund. Where is she getting this a refund from? Hang on. I don't see refund anywhere. What? Is this part of a new section? Grants and other assistance to organizations, governments, and individuals in the United States. Complete if the organization answered yes on Form 990, Part 4, line 21. For any recipient that received more than $5,000. Unless these are all refunds? Hang on. Ask ChatGPT. Let's see ChatGPT. Is she just lying? Where is she getting this a refund? Or is this 1630 paying them? No, I don't think it... Hang on. Hang on. Are you sure? It's a grant. It wouldn't be a... It's not a refund. There's nothing here saying it's a refund. Where's she getting that from? Really? They're refunding this many people? What the fuck? Hang on. I'm sorry you have a personal vendetta against me, but this is appalling behavior. Our Media's Network Reporting Fund has never received a penny from 1630. That's a fact. But that's not what's being said. This is a refund from 1630 to a program Omidyar funded, not the other way around. You didn't fact check any of this. You didn't even reach out to Omidyar Network for comment. They would have happily clarified this to you. Instead, you took a misleading screenshot from before the program even existed and used it to instigate a smear campaign. Okay. Is it a coincidence that she gets the same 8,000? Yes. That number being the same is a total coincidence, I think. Okay, so what's Burbank saying? Wait, what's this? Nearly every progressive org gets money from 1630. Down home, North Carolina, Move On, People's Action, the org you get paid from. I've never taken money from them. You're shady and doing bad journalism. Let's talk about what's low, Taylor. Should I tell others about you? I have no idea what you mean by should I tell others about you, but if you're referring to Alex, then go right ahead, or I'm happy to post about it. I tried to help you. I'm sorry I couldn't. She's so fucking abusive, man. I encouraged victims to tell their stories, and they did. I'm sorry that upset you. Why would you publicly tweet my abuser's name at me like this? I trusted you with my story, and you broke that trust so many times. I will be telling my story on my own terms, on my own time, something you tried to take from me repeatedly. I'm not a chorus creator. I'm not even the first person to post that financial disclosure. I found a link to it today, but it was first posted last night by creators with more followers than me. She's clearly targeting me for a reason. Lorenz using my story about sexual assault against me because people are questioning her morals is unthinkable. I will say more when I'm ready. Logging off for a bit because this is reopening trauma I was not ready for today. Holy shit. She is getting out-woked right, left, and center, dude. She is getting so fucking pummeled by these other... This person works for a drop site, by the way. She's like very left-wing, or she would be. I don't know if drop site also have like right-wing populists or whatever, but I don't think so. Thing is, if she's saying that... But the Politico argument completely disproves that, right? Because the Politico argument shows that Omidyar and his wife actually sent millions, like tens of millions, to a 1636 project. So, I mean, as a nonprofit, 1630 is not required to disclose its donors, even though it spends significant sums on politics. Interesting. 1630 does not have to disclose its donors because it is a nonprofit. But even though it does disclose donors, right? So they don't even, dark money, even though they don't legally have to, okay. Omidyar family's disclosures, 30, this has nothing to do with 1630. Oh, it does, wait. Civil Action Fund. Okay, yeah, okay. This is a disclosure. Okay. Omidyar disclosure, 45 million to Civil Action Fund. Civic Action Fund, sorry. Okay. What an absolute state, dude. What's Yeet commenting on this? I think Hutch was fighting with her as well on Twitter, right? Asmongold, oh yeah, he is on Taylor's side because he also doesn't know anything about anything. Good one. Jessica Burbank. Hassan defends Lorenz while Asmongold covers the story.
This is one of those situations where it feels.
Oh wow, really? The populist brain rot people who don't know anything about anything they talk about are getting mad and taking Taylor's side. Interesting.
Like people that tune into this learn less.
I love how people that you write slop articles and you get mad that people make slop videos. What is this? What are you doing? Like, what are you thinking?
Okay. One of the things that's really frustrating about these sorts of conversations online is like someone writes an article, okay, for Wired magazine. Someone writes an article in general. And then instead of addressing the claims that are being made, most people just turn around and go, no, you.
Addressing the claims looks like this, by the way.
I'm interested in. All of Destiny's former orbits suckled on progressive victory. Yeah, and it turned into a slush fund for Destiny's besties, like straight up. All of the people who are pro-Israel and all the people who are pro-Destiny unironically got paid. Yeah, you were right. Key search disclose.
Again, you can look at Progressive Victory and people who worked with them. It wasn't, of course, that when it was initially pushing, they got people, and then they had people who had connections who were also working with them because these guys wanted to work with creators. They ended up with like Brianna Wu and Destiny fairly early on, and then after that they were like, okay, well, who else can we get on? And it was like, who's the nearest ones? Well, other creators who are in that sphere. It wasn't all people who are quote pro Destiny or even pro Israel though. That's not true. Progressive Victory also worked with Vosh. Vosh fucking hates Destiny, right? And he also hates Israel. He wants Israel destroyed. Not to mention, who else was there? Progressive Brat. There was Zanderhol, very anti-Destiny, very anti-Israel. There was Straight Raids, Lycan, both very anti-Israel. So the fact that he's making about Israel, again, the obsession, the obsessive fucking hatred. People learn less from this content. What can I say? Emma Vigland, was she? I don't think she was involved with Progressive Victory, was she? But Vosh was, yes. For quite a bit, actually, for quite a while. Absolute fucking liar. And again, they make this about me as well somehow.
Available information from the have to be disclosed. It's likely that behind the scenes they're receiving even more money. So all of this is public.
Oh yeah, basically we'll just infer whatever the actual fuck we want. Nice one. Good. Again, another person who just slams institutions and doesn't know anything about how they work, but nice one.
Available information from the FEC website. You might know about Progressive Victory. This is like a political action committee founded by like Destiny and Brianna Wu, basically to like steal money from people.
It's not, again, this is like, do you know that quote? I think it's from Sartre, I can't remember, but it's about how it's about the anti-Semite and how they operate in bad faith. And I think the quote is something like, the anti-Semite doesn't accuse the Jew of stealing because he thinks they actually stole something. He does it because he delights in watching the Jew turn out his pockets to prove his innocence. This guy doesn't believe a fucking word he's saying. He just knows that the dribbling fucking 12 IQ people in his audience will just lap up all of this because, again, they have no interest in actual politics or achieving any kind of actual political results or power. They're just bedridden online trolls living on fucking disability, spewing fucking hatred on the internet. That's all they're good for. So yeah, founded by Destiny or funded by Destiny? Okay.
Under the guise of them donating it to like the Biden election campaign. And
what does that fucking sentence even mean? Like he's just making it up on the spot. Really? So Progressive Victory was founded by Destiny to steal money from people under the guise of them donating it to the Biden election campaign. Like how many mistakes can you make in one sentence? Like what a fucking mangled brain, absolute fucking retard. But again, he's just making shit up. He's completely fucking riffing. So that his audience, because he knows his audience will just lap it up. Really, what? Funding the Biden campaign, like giving money to the DNC? Is that what PV was doing? Really?
2-year period from 2023 to 2024, they distributed a handsome $1.2 million to themselves and people associated with them, basically for two things: to do Zionist propaganda and to kiss the ring regarding like...
They're their obsession again. The absolute obsession. These guys just make everything about Israel and then they're really surprised that people think they're anti-Semitic for having such a special interest in the Jews. Sorry. I meant half of the world's Jews. More than half. Just slightly more than half. They're quite obsessed with more than half of the world's Jews. If you want to know what we were doing in Progressive Victory, if you have any curiosity in your mind, What you do is you look up YouTube, Progressive Victory, Lonerbox, for example. You can get a playlist and you can get a bunch of shorts. This is what we did with Progressive Victory. This is what we did. They took segments from my stream and put them on their channel. That's it. There wasn't even any exclusivity. I could put them on my channel as well. That's how that went. That was it. As well as a bunch of shorts. And once a week, there would be a gathering of people where they would say, oh yeah, here's like a huge list of news stories for the week. Would you like to talk about any of those? And you're like, yeah, I'll take that one and that one. Or you would just say, actually, no, I'm not really up for doing this. I'll just do this particular story instead. And they're fine with that as well. That's kind of how that went. Not really change your mind. Nothing to do with Zionist propaganda. It was about stopping Trump. And I'm sorry, Mr. Piker and friends, I'm really sorry that I, as a fucking Scottish person, who doesn't even live in America, as well as going canvassing in fucking Ohio and also doing this. And also you can even look at the playlist. There's also interviews with activists and campaigners on here. And there was also an interview with one of the political scientists who was looking at polling. Yeah, here's one of the activists, Monet Holder. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy, that I actually worked harder to keep Trump out of office than you did, despite you being an American, a millionaire, no less. Yes, I'm sorry. Because you spent the whole time saying that Harris, Biden, Trump are all the same on Gaza, which is fucking retarded, sorry. And also saying that the differences that they have in other issues are just not worth enough to push the Democrats into power. You actually said you weren't even going to tell people who to vote for. Fuck you, man. Never told his audience to vote for Kamala. Yeah, I know. Matt Binder took part in PV2. Yeah, well, they don't care. They don't care. It's all just made up shit. Fuck.
Destiny and
I don't think it's like, I mean, this is like Bad Empanada's like drama side, muddying the waters a little bit. Because like it's not just
to be clear, you know that his history and politics are like equally retarded. It's just I gotta know, whatever.
About that. That is a function of it for sure, but it's not just that, right? Like they probably did, because I remember they were doing like activations with like politicians and shit, right? Like real politicians, not just like specifically using it to do Zionist propaganda. Just shut up and listen to the vid, man. Okay, there is this attitude that a lot of people have that is very...
That's right. People believe it. People believe it. Your audience believes it. You trained them to believe it. You trained them to be fucking idiots who take other idiots seriously. Yeah, sorry. You get what you deserve.
Frustrating. I know more about this back end than he does, okay? So shut the
No, you fucking don't. What do you know about Progressive Victory? Well, I guess, I suppose you do know more in the sense that you know that it probably wasn't founded by Destiny. Yeah, you probably know that.
The attitude that a lot of people have in this community about Bad Empanada
He's also being careful, I guess, because there might be some people that he likes who were with Progressive Victory and some people who were very anti-Israel were with Progressive Victory as well. Maybe he's worried about that.
A prophetic figure when it comes to like political discourse is actually starting to annoy me. And I'm sure it annoys him as well when people behave in this like incredibly parasocial way. Please, I'm adding additional information to what he is saying.
Wait, you're not correcting the things he's saying? He said like 50 things about it that are wrong, you fucking coward. What?
Okay. As someone who is more knowledgeable about I know they sent money to the orbiters, you moron. I know that already.
He has evidence.
To get to it. I'm saying that's only one component of
Actual drooling cunt. By the way, just so you know, this was my issue with Progressive Victory, was that the reason those funds got disclosed for 1 month, it was 1 month of pay, was because of an administrative error. There was someone who filed the payments through the channel that they weren't supposed to, and it had to go public. Yeah, that's kind of where that happened. Bad Empanada also used my address there to tell people to go after me on his Instagram. That's a true story.
Okay. This is an
I know what this, if you're wondering why Hassan's so frustrated right now, it's that Hassan's his ultimate driver, I think, is the fact that he is just insanely insecure about his intelligence. And I think the fact that his community probably values Bad Empanada's word maybe even more than Hassan's, because Hassan is kind of a dunce. He's like the 11 IQ dude in the room, and Empanada's like 13 IQ. So I think that makes Hassan feel very threatened.
Organization that I'm familiar with, that I refuse to work with for that reason. Shut your stupid mouth up. Okay?
Sorry,
I know more than Bad Empanada on this. And I know more than you on this too. Please shut your stupid mouth for one goddamn second before immediately going, oh, the Bad Empanada knows more than you. Like, shut up. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I can't even talk about like a organization that is tangentially related to the Taylor Lorenz article that we were talking about. It's just another PAC that's like operating as a PAC within the structure of the Democratic Party that like does like some canvassing events, some other events, like conducting interviews with like politicians and while also simultaneously they were, you know, it was mostly being used as a slush fund for Destiny's best friends.
You don't know anything about Progressive Victory, you fucking liar. You don't know. Do you know how that worked? It worked because people who were around Destiny's area were working for Progressive Victory because he was one of the first ones to, I think he fundraised for them. And then people that he knew got connected to them. That's how that works. That's how connections work, buddy. And then that's how I got involved. I think it was Brianna Wu who like asked me if I wanted to do stuff. And then there was also people like RGR and all that. Yeah, but that's because the first connection led to other people. It's also how people who were connected to Vosh got involved. That's also how Matt Binder got involved. You think Destiny and Matt Binder are good friends? Probably not. They were looking for creators. They found one creator who had a lot of creators around them, so they took those other creators, and then they found other creators like Vosh who had other people around them and took them, and all of it was insanely fucking public. All of it was in the wide open. You can look at, even in Ohio, actually, if me talking about Progressive Victory. That's me on stream this is on stream in July 2024. I think for Progressive Victory, I might have to do a community night for something at one point, like getting the Discord community to just like do something, but I don't know what I want to do yet. Probably watch something, just like watch a fucking film or a series episode and just like react to it. I don't know. I think this ended up being the interview with the fucking polling expert or whatever. Let's see. That's a victory, you guys. You guys want to see what went down? Wait, I need to put my lanyard in the corner. Wait, just so you guys know. The idea of this is just so you guys know. Very excited for the next one. Wow, look at that. Here we go. Cunts come along. All right.
Hello, I'm Will, and this is my channel.
Oh yeah, we did a little fucking promo video as well with them. What was this? Oh yeah, there's a whole list of Progressive Victory mentions here from before that shit got leaked as well. Dark money, dudes. Dark money. Incredibly dark money content. The money's dark because I guess they think it was just $2,000 and not like that was a monthly thing and that was the one time it got shown. I don't know. Because I don't tell you about all my fucking income. Let's see.
Some other events like conducting interviews with like politicians and while also simultaneously they were, you know, it was mostly being used as a slush fund for Destiny's best friends. Okay?
Not criticizing him and not going after him for...
I think Destiny didn't even do anything that much with Progressive Victory after the fundraising. I don't think he did that much with them.
Sex crimes and stuff like that. So, you go to the publicly available...
Yeah, this is one instance where Bad Empanada, you were completely aligned and chatters are still drama farming. It's mind-boggling to me. Like, he's not even wrong. There's just some stuff that he...
Every single thing he said was wrong, but okay.
He's getting... There's just some stuff that he's not aware of, okay?
See website, you look up Progressive Victory PAC. You go to disbursements, and you click on other disbursements. $1.3 million spent. So you increase the amount of results per page, and search the page for advertising services. And some of the biggest...
He needs to communicate that you increase the number of results per page. What a fucking boomer, dude. Okay. Wow. This guy's in the know. This guy knows how this works. And this is proof of what exactly? Besides the fact that there was this organization that supported the Democrats and was funded by wealthy people who wanted to connect creators with politicians and to connect themselves into the online space and to make content. What else is this proving, by the way? Oh, sorry, apart from the Zionism that we were all directed to do, even though, interestingly, Progressive Victory didn't really give that much of a fuck about Israel and Gaza. They didn't really talk about it that much because it wasn't a top issue for most American voters. Believe it or not. Some of the biggest payments. Hunter Avalon. Oh, yeah. Destiny's personal chef.
Yeah. Dylan Burns, Hunter Avalon, Hutch, Destiny's own personal chef.
Like, he's just posting the entire doxes with the addresses and everything. Nice one. Beautiful. We love that. That's so cute. Well, listen, you can thank me, Hassan, okay? You know, I did in fact work harder to get Trump out of office than you did. Sorry. And I'm not even from your country. Just a bit of think of it as a bit of good faith foreign interference. I do like watching his audience get cannibalized by Bana Banana, though. That's really funny. He deserves that. He completely deserves that. What was that? This is separate, isn't it? This is about Dean Withers. Oh, wait, no, what was this? There's more. Shit. This is who she is. Wishing this about a fake story. I'm not sure what's more shocking. The fact that people think Taylor Lorenz is still credible or that Wired actually allowed the piece to be published. This is one of the biggest grifts in a minute. Oh yeah, this is her saying about Biden, hopefully he rots in hell and rests in piss because of this thing that, believe it or not, Biden didn't actually say this. He did not say that it would be an insult to his dead son if everyone had healthcare. That's not actually what Biden said. Do I need to? Yeah, that's not true. Sorry. It's Vanguard saying. This dude has a truly insane number of sponsors. Aura, Ground News, Lumen. Is it? Excuse me, what? Vanguard, really? Do you want me to introduce you to my good friends at Olive Lefty Breadtube? This brought to you by Ground News and by BetterHelp and by Skillshare. What? These guys, again, I don't know why people think they need to live up to any of these guys' standards. These guys are deadweight. They are a drain. They are absolutely like, they are just fucking crabs in the bucket to the Democrats. Like, that's it. They just want, like, all they serve to do is to irritate people who are trying to get Trump out. They're the people who are actually trying to deal with Trump and to get him out of office, or trying to stop him even getting back into office. And there are these guys who just have a mission statement, which is to see those guys that are trying to get rid of Trump. Okay, jump on their backs and scream and screech in their ears about fucking dumb shit. Tell them how a Bernie Sanders rally in fucking Virginia or whatever would have dealt with Joe Manchin and got people around to a $15 minimum wage. Scum. Hutch is in the trenches with Taylor. Oh no. Taylor responds to Hutch, calling out her article. You got Lorenz, bro. Happens to the best of us. If it were true that the influencers were allowed to disclose their dark money funding at any time, which is not true per the contract, then why didn't they disclose the dark money? Why does she keep saying dark money? She's so fucking cringe. Oh God. Dark money is when people who are paid don't always have to disclose all their fucking funds. PV ran against an APAC candidate.
I don't know, appealing towards people's better sensibilities, past the point, like doing a bit of a ruckus.
I went to New York as a Canadian to do foreign election interference with a bunch of far leftists to defeat Israel, and no part of that sentence is...
Oh, there he is. That's Nominal Naomi as well, Twitter. These are three good friends of Dustin Benelius. True. Damn, he's really throwing them under the bus, isn't he? Why did they keep it a secret and then try to prevent my story from coming out? Wait, who? What? Didn't a lot of these creators actually talk about Chorus before tweet spam that image with Vosh? Why?
Because it's my stream, I mean, not because I'm self-centered.
I'm Dreg. Hi.
Where can we find you?
Dreg.
Drag. Maybe. Who knows?
We did some door knocking.
Why did they keep it a secret and then try to prevent my story from coming out? I don't know. I think it's reasonable for there to be NDAs and this type of thing, and for people to be worried about the framing of it in a story. I feel like we're making enemies among friends in a dark time here. They're not your friends. Taylor Lorenz is not your friend. She's not your friend. She thinks PV is like the same as fucking Tenet Media. Like, she's not your friend. She is not your friend. She is a friend of trying desperately to stay relevant as a journalist and convincing as many people as possible that she is under the age of 35. That is Taylor Lorenz's allegiance. She is not a friend of the Democrats. She's not a friend of keeping Trump out of office. She's not a friend of fucking anything in terms of actually changing people's lives. Stop. I spoke to a slew of ethics experts and researchers who study, yeah, but you told them a bunch of shit that doesn't seem to be true, Taylor. You gave them what looks like testimony from people who, like, dumb fuck creators who don't know how to read a contract. The left constantly criticizes the right for taking dark money. There's no need for this program to not be transparent. When creators but it doesn't look like they were. If it's what they're saying it is, it sounds like what Chorus does is that it's supposed to build up creators by helping them make better content. So they ask you, like, oh, it seems like learning about thumbnails and shit like that, or algorithms, or upload rates, or whatever the fuck else. Streamlining the process. I don't know. There's no need for this program to be. When creators present themselves as journalists online, as several of these creators do, they cannot also be part of a political messaging program without disclosing it, in my opinion. If it were, and that's why I thought with Progressive Victory, because Progressive Victory was about connecting streamers with political creators, and they did, to some degree, have a weekly agenda where they would say, here are like 10 news stories in the week. Do you want to choose one to talk about? Even that, even though they didn't tell you what to say about it, even though you could just pick your own story to put on their channel, you could do all that. But I thought it was worth mentioning anyway. Like, it was good for people to know that you were funded by these people, just because it's like basic transparency. If I went to a school or some like program teaching me how to make better videos, why the fuck would I need to tell anyone that? Why? I hate the GOP as much as anyone, which is why I think it's good to criticize these programs and encourage more transparency in the space. Again, it is just completely fucking retarded concern trolling over nothing. Puts out an article claiming that influencers were paid to push party talking points and were not allowed to disclose any ties. The next day, we see proof that they were not at all prohibited to disclose the cohort, that this has had nothing to do with the Democratic Party, they were not paid to do any content, and Chorus had zero creative input on the content they posted. You got Lorenz, bro, happens to the best of us. What's JStock saying? Just post the contracts. We don't need to guess about this at all. Okay. Again, I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, but there are reasons that people who have no moral obligation to post a contract, if this is what they say it is, if it is just helping you to build your skills as a content creator, no, you should not post contracts just because some retarded journalist with no credibility made a claim about you. Like, why? Just so you know, if Taylor Lorenz came to me and said, if Taylor Lorenz was like, oh yeah, we heard some murmurings from Xander Hall or like fucking Lycan or Straight Raid, that Progressive Victory was telling people to do Zionist content and they were forcing them to make pro-Israel content. You think I would have to be obligated to post the contract? Fucking kill yourself, you absolute retard. Like, no. There are some claims that do not merit disclosure like that. No. It's, again, you're the Jew hater who just accuses a Jew of stealing, but you don't really think they stole anything. You just like watching them desperately turn out their pockets to prove they're innocent. And yes, I am the Jews in this analogy. Yes.
Before saying things or fed me talk.
Oh wait, what's this? We already watched this, didn't we? Or bits of it? What am I looking at here? Announcing the thing. Initial chorus announcement.
I've been beating the drum about growing the progressive media ecosystem for years now. We finally got an exciting update. I'm part of a team of creators that's created Chorus Media. Chorus is a creator-led group of voices from the left coming together to scale up, drive the conversation online, and try and rebalance the massive disparity at play on the left and the right. So here's the deal. Chorus is going to support left-wing creators in a bunch of tangible ways, funding editors and researchers and bookers, helping creators who are established on one platform make sure they've got a presence on the others, and coordinating our messaging. Now, for me specifically, I'm not going to accept any funding. That money needs to go to new creators and the folks who can help them grow, but I'll be focused on message coordination. It has felt for the last decade like Republicans head into a morning meeting to get aligned on messaging. That disparity goes away now. If you'd like to support our efforts financially, that would be appreciated. You can click the link in the link tree in my bio. But otherwise, we can all play a role by supporting progressive creators on all platforms and helping us build out our infrastructure. I have been beating...
Aaron, our favorite snarker, is apparently trying to sweep for Lorenz on Pisco's stream right now. That's what I mean. It's like there are times when a level like disclosing like a contract between an individual and an organization that has done nothing wrong, like, but still telling them to publish that like private thing anyway. Like, if they're going to do that, like, there needs to be a strong, like a claim that actually has merit behind it. Now, if Erin, just for example, said stuff about Progressive Victory that made them seem really, really shady, or like that they were influenced, like, let's say Erin said that they were trying to influence people to be pro-Zionist or something stupid like that. Would I be obligated to show the PV contract to show that that wasn't there? Or no, I would not. I would be obligated to say, you're a fucking idiot. Like, that's what I'd be obligated to say. I'd be obligated to say, it's not my fault, you're stupid. I'm not going through my emails to find my contract or whatever because you're an idiot. Why would I do that? That video is from 2019. No, wait, 2024. Yeah, sorry. Someone does go over the contract. Oh.
Hello, I am a leftist that is known for being very critical of the Democratic Party, and I'm a member of a training program called Chorus that teaches political content creators on the left how to grow their platforms and make content creation into a full-time job. I have a slew of receipts to explain why
creators are losing subscribers. Wouldn't releasing the contract put evidence to rest? No, it fucking wouldn't. There are people out there who think that Progressive Victory was a Zionist money laundering platform for Friends of Destiny. No. You think these people care about the truth? No. They are crabs in a bucket. They are trolls. They are not serious people. No.
Very fear-mongering article that came out
I do not negotiate with terrorists. No.
About how this program works is just very inaccurate. And I think I'm a good person to talk about this because I've seen a lot of people afraid that this program is just a way for Democrats to pay people off to blindly defend Democrats on the internet. And I understand the fear because that would be diabolical if it was true. But this is a video of me yelling at the DNC literally yesterday over their refusal to endorse.
I know why. I can tell because the only people who are asking for posting contracts are the kind of bad faith fucking morons who just wouldn't care. They would not care. They would just think of a new question.
Embargo against Israel. I am not one to hold back on criticizing the Democratic establishment, so I think I'm useful proof that that's not what this program's about. I do feel there's people in this cohort who shill a little bit too hard for the Democrats, but that's a them problem, not a this program problem. Without further ado, let's get into the claims of the article versus my receipts. Okay, so the first main big scary thing that's written into this article is creators told Wired that the contract stipulated they'd be kicked out and essentially cut off financially if they even so much as acknowledged that they were part of the program or that Chorus existed. No. Here's a video of someone named Heidi who's in the cohort explaining what Chorus is and that she's joining it.
How could this even be possible if we know about creators who are in I don't know.
November 20th, 2024. Here is the Chorus website that is public facing.
I don't know though. I don't know, but someone said it. Taylor Lorenz said it, so you should absolutely show the entire contract. Everyone should, really. Because if only one person does, well, maybe they got a sweeter deal. How about that? Everyone has to. Everyone.
Anyone can see it with literal pictures of creators that are in the cohort. In the contract I signed, there is some language that says, hey, please, before you make a public statement about what Chorus is, just check with us. The reason for that is that, as the article states, there's over 90 influencers in the program, many of whom have very small accounts and joined the program to get mentorship and happen to be immigrants or trans in a red state, right? And already happen to be kind of in extra danger right now. And so the goal with the please check with us clause was to make sure that small creators who already had targets on their back weren't accidentally featured on a huge page and then suddenly have an onslaught of threats from the right. Chorus has never been kept some nefarious secret, right? People have been talking about it. It was more just, hey, this is already an unsafe job for
You don't know if that slippery slope would happen, though. Keldo, you are so naive, or you're bad faith. You're one or the other, okay? But either way, there's one rake in the field, and you are a fucking JDAM precision-guided missile that will just slam fucking bang into the rake every single time. Stop. I see right through you. I see through you, okay? You cannot do this to me. The only thing I will ever do with your comments is use you to set an example. That's all I will do.
Some people check with us in advance so you don't accidentally add to someone's unsafety. Okay, number 2. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired, creators in the program must funnel all bookings with lawmakers and political leaders through Chorus. No, again, I literally have the contract right here. I'll talk through it in a minute, but first let me show you this. Here's an email of me directly reaching out to the Zoran campaign to try to interview him because Chorus does not control who I interview or what I post. I also sometimes text the comms directors directly of Congress people that I want to interview because usually the congressional offices will give out these little business cards. And this is not specific to content creators. This is just if you go to try to talk to your senator, their people will give you little business cards. I blurred out the name of the specific person because I feel awkward, but anybody can get these business cards and then you can just text them. Chorus does not control that. I've done lots of congressional interviews and usually I just set them up myself. And here's the section of the contract, right, that confirms that. It says they want you to
disclose any engagements with government officials or others on topics related to Chorus's policy agenda that contractor arranges through, wait, what?
Close to Chorus, any engagement.
Wait, Chorus will provide contractors with access to the Chorus newsroom, which coordinates booking and engagement opportunities for creators with government officials, policy and nonprofit experts, and others whose expertise and experiences are relevant to Chorus's progressive policy agenda. Contractor agrees to 1, utilize the Chorus newsroom to book engagements, to disclose Chorus newsroom's personnel and engagements on topics related to the agenda that the contractor arranges.
With government officials related.
So this is them saying that, yeah, because they give you someone who will book you to do interviews with congressional people or politicians. And because they've given you that person, you disclose to the newsroom. Is that a problem?
To Chorus's policy agenda, that contractor, that's me, I'm the contractor, arranges through other means, right? So if I just arrange it myself with a congressperson, I just let Chorus know so that they know that congressperson's open to booking and other people in Chorus can do it too. Accidentally, I always forget to let Chorus know. Like, I don't think I've ever told them that before, but that's not what's important.
Uh-oh.
What's important is that they're literally acknowledging.
You're getting jail. You're getting fired.
Here,
baby.
That you can book it yourself. And the fact that the person who wrote this article claims to have read through the entire contract, but like, here it is clearly written that what you stated in your article was categorically false. Like, that is quite concerning about your journalistic integrity. Like, I get that these contracts are long and confusing. That's why people have lawyers and managers to help them, but you don't write an article about it unless you understand what's going on. This whole article is just written like, this group, they have money and so they control them. And it's just like, no, that's not what's happening. If there's someone in this cohort that you are like, they are too much of a shill doing whatever the Democratic Party says, it's not this program that's the reason for that. I don't know how to put this nicely. It's either a personal moral failing by those people, or it's a different contract they're under that says they can't criticize Dems. But it's not
because she's posting the contract here, but oh no, now oh no, but now people are going to ask for all the other contracts. Oh no. Are they, Keldo? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think this level of disclosure is sufficient? I mean, I'd be damned if we're worrying. I'd be damned if we were worrying about any fucking slippery slopes. Pisco and Aaron are going over it, and Pisco is unironically spitting. What's he saying?
I do expect there to be disclosure so that people aren't double booking leaders.
Policy agenda.
Right. Yeah. So.
Oh, they're watching the same video.
To think that Chorus is
I would trust Pisco on this because he's like a lawyer and shit or whatever. Yeah.
To micromanage even an interaction outside of the Chorus newsroom with these people, I think that's fucking an insane reading of this provision. I think that this is
about... So if Chorus tried to argue that that's what they were attempting to do to a creator that had done exactly what I said, and they said, you're in violation of your contract because you did this, you would say that that is not a valid way to enforce the contract.
No, I think that's not valid. I think that what they were planning to do, I think the honest to God reason why this provision is in there
one, it's to, like she said, it would help to let them know that these people can be worked with, so that the bookers, the people who are actually provided, it seems, by Chorus Newsroom, can get in contact with them as well, and also to avoid things like double bookings and shit like that, right? Like.
Because they don't want you bringing government officials on Chorus Newsroom without like prior authorization, prior not even authorization, prior notice. Like, we want to know whenever you're bringing a government official on, into the Chorus Newsroom, we want like a heads up before you bring in a government official or someone, or if you're talking about something pertinent to our agenda. I think that's what the purpose of this is for, is to micromanage, or not even micromanage, but at least have some fucking control over what happens in our newsroom, not you having a fucking I mean, this really, if you interpreted it the way that Taylor is suggesting, you would be interpreting this to mean like, anytime I talk to an other, remember, quote, other, about a topic related to Chorus, that means I would have to disclose to Chorus every time I'm fucking talking to you about something in the fucking Chorus agenda book. You get me? Because you're an other, right? So that can't be what they're suggesting, right? They can't be suggesting that every time that you interact with an other person.
How boring would that be for Chorus if they just have to learn about every single conversation these people have
and have a public engagement?
Well, wait.
You're supposed to disclose to the newsroom.
You're presupposing that this is necessarily the section that Taylor is characterizing in this article. It may not be, because we haven't seen the whole contract.
Okay, maybe not, but this seems to be the most pertinent section about disclosing things with government officials.
This is the only thing that we've seen, and this is what this creator is saying that it pertains to, but we don't know until they show the whole contract.
If this is it, right? This ain't it. Like this to me, it would be such.
Each plushie represents a friend she has betrayed in the past. Oh no! I mean, that you guys know of.
A ridiculous reading of this contract, right?
Stop.
To think, and
I do, because I think the or others thing really undermines the idea that you would need to involve them in every single communication.
Correct.
Because it would be literally
I'm good.
So encompassing that it's micromanagement, it's unenforceable. It's not a reasonable way to interpret this.
It's so insane. Yeah. So I want to make sure, Aaron, I know you understand it. I just want to make sure the audience understands.
What is Chorus's policy agenda?
I don't know, but I just want to make sure that the audience understands. So Aaron understands for sure. This is what I'm suggesting, right? If you read this as pertaining to things outside of the Chorus newsroom, because this disclosure requirement applies to both government officials or to, quote, others, right? Others, that would include, on topics related to Chorus's policy agenda, that would include, if it's unconnected to the Chorus newsroom, basically any interaction with any person that relates to whatever Chorus's progressive policy agenda is, which is probably like anything related to national politics right now, right? I'm sure they have things on healthcare, have things on fucking, democracy, on things on cost of living. So are we really to interpret this provision as requiring specific disclosure, not to Chorus generally, but to Chorus's newsroom, right? The specific people running the Chorus's newsroom on your, interactions, an interview that you have with your grandma about what she's doing with the cost of living? That's really what you think this provision is suggesting? Or is the better...
it would be a mental fucking read if that's anything close to what they were doing.
Because I'm under this contract, and you can catch me on the daily making fun of Andrew Cuomo, pissed at Cory Booker, calling for Chuck Schumer to lose his job. Take your pick.
Hey, this is someone we've banned like a billion times. Cool maps. Bro, this contract is sus as fuck.
I've heard of contracts that exist that restrict what people can say bad about Democrats, but this is not one of them. This contract actually has no bearing on a single thing that we ever post, which brings me to my next section. The next part, and this is a really important part, I'm going to try to explain this as well as I can, but feel free to comment questions, is that the contracts reviewed by Wired prohibit standard partnership disclosures. What she's talking about, a standard partnership disclosure is when you make a video in partnership with an org like the ACLU, and so then you put ACLU partner as a disclosure in your caption. There is very important context left out of this article of why the standard disclosures aren't the kind we use at Chorus, and that's because Chorus never pays us to make a video. The author of this article actually said that in a comment. You're correct that Chorus doesn't pay you to post specific content. Yeah. Chorus is a training program where I learn things like what lights to buy if I want to film a YouTube video, and what policy experts are saying about gerrymandering in Texas and National Guard in DC. So since Chorus is about personal development and they're never paying you to make a video, of course you're not putting Chorus partnership in your caption. That's not how that would work. So I don't fault anyone who read this sentence and was like, that is so evil, because a lot of people who consume content don't necessarily know the way that the logistics of your partnership labels work. But I am frustrated at the author of this article for not adding the relevant context here, because
Wired doesn't have editors. How did that article go through quality control? Well, again, listen, I am obsessed. I will make everything about Israel. Will I? Yeah. It's like when people have those 972 articles that are from soldiers who have all kinds of varying ranks and positions talking about what goes on behind closed doors in the rooms. But sometimes all these soldiers don't know that much. If you're a lower ranker, if you're not in a particular area, you might just say things that you've heard, and you'll probably report and you might give testimony that is based on misunderstandings and things like that. So what's happening here is that Taylor is, in a sense, she is accurately reporting because she is being told by other people what the contract says, right? And if she's just saying what other people have said when they've misread the contract, or these fucking idiot creators who don't understand what's going on. And by the same token, when we have people when we have Taylor talking about the contract as well, she might have read this, but none of it is really, I don't know how much of it you could sue, apart from, I guess, the dark money thing. But yeah, how could you... She is reporting what people have said about the contracts, at least, right? And even this might be technically true as well. It's just that the context of it would obviously be very different, because it's clear that people can publicize their relationships with Chorus. They've all, loads of people seem to have done it and are doing it now, unless you think they changed the fucking contract in the last 24 hours as a panic move.
is not supposed to publish an article unless it's been like very fact checked and contextualized, and this was like very misleading. And then I also highlighted this section. I accidentally talked about it already earlier in the video. Creators will not publicize the relationship with Chorus or tell others they're a member of the program without Chorus's prior express consent. This is the protecting small creators part, but also lots of things in contracts are written very strict in case of legal emergency. I've told plenty of people casually that I'm in Chorus, and Chorus does not care. They've expressly told us that that's fine. This is just for if someone does something like diabolically evil and then Chorus has to sue them, and they can just be like, girl, the contract. Like, it makes it easier in court. They don't really care about it otherwise. It's not top secret. If you want more examples of people who've publicly talked about Chorus for a while, I'm happy to provide them. Feel free to comment. I just used Heidi's example because I think it's just very obvious. Okay, I have two more things to address in this video, and then feel free to comment if you have more things you want me to explain. But the first is, we've talked a lot about what Chorus is not, because that article led people to believe that it was this, a plot by the DNC to be able to just pay people off to blindly obey them. Now that that's been debunked, let's talk about what Chorus actually is. I have my Google Calendar for the week here to explain. Every morning we start off with a news update meeting. Okay, we meet for 15 minutes. I wake up and I'm immediately just told what the news of the day is, and we all get a chance to ask like questions if we want to know how a specific lawsuit is developing or what is Trump expected to do next with the National Guard, right? We're just making sure we're all the most informed. These are very brief. Sometimes they're 5 minutes. Then 3 times a week in the afternoon, we have a more like specific training. On Mondays, we have technical trainings. That's where we learn about a specific platform. So like someone will come and explain how you start a Substack or how you start YouTube long form. On Wednesdays,
and Brian Tyler Cohen runs this. Like, he founded this. Damn, he's like a. I didn't know. He's got orbiters. He's got army. These are the white blood cells. What do they call it? The speds?
We have advocacy training, which is where we hear from an expert in a specific policy field. So recently it's been a lot of people who work in like immigration explaining ICE or explaining the logistics of the National Guard, that kind of thing. And then Fridays are a little bit more flexible, and they're optional. I haven't gone to them, so I won't speak on it. And that is the weekly schedule. And the whole point of it is that you're like developing your channel over the course of 6 months so that hopefully by the end of it, you can be your own self-sufficient full-time content creator. Because people who work in politics on social media often have a hard time getting funding. It's hard to make it your job, but the right does a really good job of making it people's jobs, such that the political right actually pushes out 500 times as much content as the political left. That's an actual statistic every single day. They're outperforming us in volume incredibly because they just make sure that people can do it as a job. That's what this program is trying to accomplish, to counter like the manosphere. Last thing I want to talk about is my belief that the election funding system in this country is like fundamentally broken. And I want to talk a little bit about the logistics of dark money because it's not really explained in this article. Dark money is when someone does fundraising for the purpose of influencing elections, right? Like giving it to a campaign through nonprofit organizations so that they don't have to disclose the identity of the original donor. So for example, right, we all know that Donald Trump is helping the Cuomo campaign in New York. Now that's embarrassing for Andrew Cuomo is the problem. So if Trump wants to give money to the Cuomo campaign but doesn't want anyone to know it was him, he can give it to a dark money organization that again gives it to Cuomo and nobody can trace it back to Donald Trump. I don't like that system. And to be clear, most Americans don't, like, except for the billionaires, we're pretty much all Republican and Democrat, like, on the same page that system is really bad. So I was excited to join this incubator program at Chorus for a while. It was the first of its kind on the left. I felt like it was really important for me as a leftist to be there. I mean, this way I can encourage people to be more critical of Israel, encouraging them to push their representatives.
Oh no. Oh, not that one. That's, oh shit, the narrative. Oh, not the narrative. Oh God, not the narrative, guys. Damn. APAC pressed the wrong button.
A little bit harder. To me personally, I find it important to be in rooms with people who are less critical of the system than I am, because I have the hope of like nudging these people into more strong advocacy. And that's not always going to work, but sometimes it does. And so
Isn't Palestinian nationalism literally just fascism, like in every respect, rooted in Ottoman imperial decline? It's just the Ottoman version of Nazism. No, and no. I guess you're kind of like, you're not even asking a question. You've kind of just decided to answer for me. Okay. Why not? If you've come to that conclusion, there is probably nothing I can say that would ever change your mind on it, I'm afraid. Nationalism is typically, there's a group of people who have a shared language and ethnicity and culture, and they live in a particular area. And throughout the course of history, either through imperialism or through administrative regions by empires or by other countries, they end up in a particular region and then they develop a national identity. So whether it's people in like the Serbs or the Romanians or the Bulgarians in the Balkans, in the case of Palestine, it was the Arabs of Palestine. They were the majority of that region. Those borders were Palestine was a region as considered by the Ottoman Empire, even though they split the districts very deliberately for political reasons, but they still had the area, Art Philistine, and most of them understood that that was not the same as like what was eventually became Syria and what eventually became Lebanon. So once those borders are drawn by the Mandate period, they are like, yeah, well, we're Arabs and we're in Palestine. That's the Palestinian Arabs. That's how they understood themselves. Like that's how every national identity is ever formed, fucking ever. The fact that you don't like one of them, sorry. But before Ottoman decline, I don't know. Do you think the average Palestinian is worried about Ottoman decline right now, or because they're in a region where they don't have sovereignty? It's so fucking dumb, man. Get out of here.
Leaders, of course, came to us and they were like, we're finally launching the program. We finally found someone to fund this. It's the 1630 fund. I was like, right. Okay. Not the biggest fan of their other work. Let me think on this. And obviously I ended up joining, but it was not without serious deliberation with my friends and my family and my management and the people who run Chorus. And ultimately, like, I want to sort of lay out for you who may be curious what my thought process looked like. I decided that my distaste for the fact that the 1630 fund funds some, congressional Democrat campaigns with methods that I don't like was outweighed by the potential benefit of a separate program where they have no control over what I say, where I'd be a leftist voice in a first of its kind incubator program for 90 people to combat the manosphere. I was like, you know what? This program is imperfect, but I think that I can do good from it. And I think that the threat of fascism is so big right now that there might need to be an order of operations, right? We need to get rid of the fascist threat of Donald Trump trying to take everything over. And then once me and us buddies are in power, then we get rid of the dark money mechanism so that nobody in the future has to do this through a dark money funder who's the only one willing to fund something in the future. I'm more than happy to have dialogue with people about, the pros and cons and weighing like joining a program and whatnot. But I do want to like really emphasize everything I have posted has not changed at all since I joined this program. I think that's very evident if you know my page well, if you see the things I talk about, if you see the way that I don't hold myself back from criticizing anybody who is worthy of criticism. I think that there is genuinely a very important conversation to be had about the way that we do funding for all things political in this country. And part of the reason this article frustrates me is because instead of having a very legitimate conversation about that, it was just like a bunch of misinformation, and now we're all just debating the facts. It's like taking everyone's attention away from what's like really important and what the real things we should.
Then we're directing the attention to where it's really, really important, which is to Taylor Lorenz and the fact that you are sexist if you assume that she's over the age of 35. Okay, she is a Zoomer friendly. She's down with the youth. That's the stop.
Be talking about are and just making a whole like internet mess. Anyways, feel free to comment any questions that you have. I'll be responding to the comments, and if you have any questions too, like we can respond in the comments with pictures now, so I can probably I can send you specific stuff in the comments, like photos of proof of whatever, you know what I mean? Okay, that's all for now. Bye all.
Tim Pool could never do this.
Hello, I am
the fact that it just one paragraph apart from Tenet Media fucking Taylor Lorenz. Mate, you are not special. You are not that special. Sorry. I mean, you are, but just not in that way. You're not the person who's going to discover the fucking Democrat version of Tenet Media. That does not exist. Okay, guys, get your gapes out. Get your gaping soy face out. Let's go. I need you guys to ungape or whatever. Unload your your gape faces. Just to close this little story, Dean Withers was Hassan is debating Charlie Kirk in September, and Dean Withers was going to chat to him about it because Dean Withers is kind of like Charlie Kirk's eternal night terror. Like Charlie Kirk is terrified to debate Dean Withers because despite him being like 10 years younger or whatever, Charlie Kirk is like a very unimpressive, pathetic, fucking talentless fail son who has had enough money and enough effort pushed into him and enough of a work ethic that he does actually have quite a lot of influence over Republican politics and universities and the youth and everything else. But he's still afraid to debate Dean Withers and Parker. He can't do it. I don't know. But he is not afraid to debate Hassan Piker because Hassan Piker is retarded and spoiled and stupid. Dean was going to chat to Hassan about the debate upcoming, but I think he has been sent resources about Hassan. Dean Withers hints that he will likely not be doing Charlie Kirk debate prep with Hassan anymore. This is him in a Discord server, I guess. Dean, smiley face, still collaborating with Hassan, knowing he's a rape apologist who's also engaged in revenge porn. His only horrible take, more in depth about Hassan, and it's a Medium article about weaponizing police against women and sharing revenge porn. I don't know this story. I don't even know. If it's a Medium article, I feel like it's probably not that. Like, if he'd actually done either of those things, it would be much more newsworthy. You know, surely there's some threshold of accountability. Surely that exists. Like I meant to say 5 days ago, thanks for sending me the resources on Hassan. I appreciate it. I won't end up making it out there for a handful of reasons, including the resources shared by y'all. Vosh wrote a Medium article. He did. Anyone can write a Medium article. That's funny. That's funny. It would be quite funny watching Hassan try to give tips to Dean Withers to try to debate bro him. Because Dean Withers, for all of his flaws, is actually like a fairly intelligent person. Hassan is just not, but okay.